Looks like we are. I got the notification.
Cool. I'm going to run the intro. Whoops. I'm running the intro, but I'm running the intro, but I was really stupid there. And guess what I forgot to do? Share it.
Yep.
See what happens? Away from this for 2 weeks and you turn into a total. Okay, so I'm going to try that again. Let me back up here. Back up the video. Got to rewind it. Oh, come on. There we go. Yeah, rewind. There's a term for you. Kind of brings back those great days of VHS tapes. Okay, here we go. I'm going to, oh yeah, there we go. I'm going to share this guy. And hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode 36 of AWT TV. I'm Steve Sande. This gentleman over here is Marty Edwards. Hi, Marty.
Hey, I see we have different attire. You look all bundled up, and I've got a fan blowing on me. We got to 79 degrees. Broke our old record by 3 degrees today.
And we got to a sweltering 23 degrees today. We're finally getting some snow. I can't complain. Out here in the West, snow means the difference between having a nice summer and having forest fires. So, I'd much prefer to have snow and make sure we have water and stuff. So
right.
I'm not complaining, but man, it's cold.
Speaking of water, we're under a flash flood or flood watch, calling for a lot of rain to come in. So. But I tell you, it's warm here. Things are turning green. Some flowers are blooming. They'll probably get bit, but it's getting close to March, so it's almost time.
Yeah, usually in March, about the only thing we get is you get a couple trees that are really dumb that decide to bud out like midway through the month, and then they get hit by a snowstorm and, branches come down.
Right.
And we get a couple of the bulbs will come up and everybody goes, look, flowers. But April's nice. April's great. I love April. Can't wait.
Yeah, and I think you and I both big baseball fans, so it starts in April.
Yeah. I'm actually going to spring training this year.
Are you? I assume
I'm
in Colorado.
not participating. Well, no, we're going down to, I'm not participating, but
of course, it has to be Arizona, Florida, so.
Yeah, AZ, we're going to Phoenix area and going to be just enjoying ourselves. Kind of after the last couple of months, we need some good and long relaxation there. So that's going to be good.
I've been meaning to ask you I think we both subscribe to MLB. Do you do the full season every game or the one game a day and all audio, or how do you subscribe?
Well, it's funny because, and it's great you brought this up because we haven't made a decision yet. Now, the funny thing is we're kind of taking a look at, both my wife and I love baseball. We absolutely love baseball. And since we are considering doing the cable cutting thing, we still haven't done it. Haven't had enough time to get everything set up and going. But if we do, and when we do, I should say, one thing we are considering is maybe getting the full MLB TV package, which means you can watch, I think, 4 games at once or something like that. It's crazy. And you can watch,
and you get to watch every game except your in market games, like Denver plays at home. That won't be broadcast. So
Yeah, and hopefully we'd be there. So.
Right. So
we can only hope.
I tell you, maybe next week, since it's sometime in March, I might demo the MLB program. My subscription runs out April 2nd, so I'll re-up one way or another. I think I generally do the $20. I get one game a day and all audio. So
cool.
$20 for the whole season.
Now, is that at bat or MLB TV that you're talking about?
It's at bat, but then you can watch it on everything. I think they sort of overlap,
Yeah, the MLB at bat, I go with the, kind of the, I guess you could call it the cheap subscription. And, because we kind of like when we're at a game, if you see something happen and you're going, wait a second, what happened there? And you really want to know, it's kind of fun to go back and look at the app, and they go, oh, well, that was, such and such a call. And you kind of go, oh, okay, that's what happened.
Yes, definitely. We may have to discuss that app before opening weekend in April.
That'd be fun. That'd be a good one. Well, tonight we are going to do I guess you could call it tips and hints again. We did this 2 episodes ago and had a lot of people say, hey, that was really good, because there was a lot of things that I had absolutely no idea that one could do that. And I know, talking to you, Marty, that you're going to be covering a lot of things that people might not necessarily know about control panel. But I'm going to kind of start things off with one little hint about something in control panel that I don't think a lot of people, may know that they're missing in the first place. And secondly, anyway, I'll just talk about it here. Now, what I'm going to have to do real quick here is fiddle around with something behind the scenes and get it set up to do there we go, iPhone AirPad via AirPlay, share screen. And we'll get that going. A plug is required, and it does this every time. Okay, so, and now we get this exciting screen that says, choose Wi-Fi network, blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's right. I've got to turn Wi-Fi on now for this. And we've got to be on the same network. And we're on that one. And on this device, we're on. See how easy this is? Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to get AirPlay going here. And in about 2 seconds, there we go. Screen mirroring. There we go. Finally. Okay, what you see on the screen is my iPhone 10 there. And what I'm going to show everybody, I don't know how many people use AirDrop, but my wife and I use it all the time because it's so easy to throw things back and forth. I'll get a photo that she doesn't have, and I say, oh, you got to see this picture, and I'll AirDrop it over to her, or she'll do something, hey, you've got to read this article, and, I'll send you a link, and she'll send the link via AirDrop. And I just really, really like the way it works. I mean, really love the way it works. So what we're going to look at here is where AirPlay controls ended up hiding in, whoops, I just goofed up. There we go. In Control Panel in iOS 11. And you look at Control Panel here, and you look all over the place, and I don't see anything that looks even vaguely familiar to the AirDrop logo. And that's because they hid it. And if you go up to that cluster of 4 buttons that's up there, there's one that says cellular is on, and the other one, you got the little airplane icon for setting your device into airplane mode. You got Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, both of which are blue right now, telling us that they're working. Well, if I do a tap and hold, or on some devices, if you do a 3D touch on there, what comes up is this nifty little window. And this has a lot more. It gives you detail on airplane mode is off, cellular data is off, Wi-Fi, it shows what network I'm using, Bluetooth is on. But here's the control for AirDrop. And you also have something for personal hotspot. In this case, I've got it turned off for the purposes of doing this demonstration. But I'm going to go ahead and tap on AirDrop there. And it comes up with this little dialogue that says, well, I can turn off receiving, which I definitely don't want to do. I can set it to contacts only, or I can set it to everyone. And, I don't care. I like everyone to send me stuff, provided they're not sending viruses or anything like that. But that is where all of that is hidden nowadays. Just kind of a cool thing to know where it is, just in case you happen to need to use AirDrop and you're saying to yourself, self, where the heck did that go?
They did a good job hiding it, because I admit I had to look for it a little bit first time I needed it. So
yeah, they really hit it.
Yeah.
So what do you have for us?
Well, I was going to comment. No, I use AirDrop a lot. Sometimes, especially if I film or video, we speak in old terms, don't we? Rewind and film. So
film, yeah.
If I video an event that's, say, 30 minutes or an hour, sometimes I want to send it to the Mac, so I AirDrop it. One little trick I've learned, this is, I won't show it now, but the iPhones have gone to a new format of video that compresses it more. If I AirDrop it to this Mac Mini, it does not read that format, and it takes it so long to AirDrop, as in 20 to 30 minutes, because it has to convert it back and get it over there. So I do not video or take pictures in that compressed format. I do it standard. Then it dumps them very quickly. So, okay, I wanted to show people a little bit about the control panel. And so what you're seeing on screen, of course, my phone that you've seen week to week. And so you access control panel from the bottom. I don't have anything added to it. The one that Steve just showed you with the 4 devices, and you press and hold, and I do get a little click, and I do not have 3D touch turned on. I've never used that, so I have it turned off, but it's still 3D touch, or a facsimile thereof actually works in this. So these are the standard control panel commands. You have connectivity with the 4 icons, and it expands to 6. And then you have music, and it's quite handy. You can, if you've got something playing, you can pause, rewind, or fast forward. And over to the left, second row, you have where you can lock your rotation orientation. Some of these you press and have different things. That one you do not. Nor do you have, I have do not disturb on, so notifications won't roll across during our broadcast. But that's a standard one. And on dock connector here, I'll go on down there, I can actually send it to Apple TV. You press and hold. And this one, I really like the brightness one. You just grab and slide, turn your screen bright or dim. It's doing it on my phone, but it won't do it on the broadcast screen. And another, if you deep press on this one, press and hold, it offers you to do night shift. I have night shift come on at 10 p.m. and go off at 6:30 a.m. So I tap it if I want to turn it on early. So I go to bed a little early and I want it on, or I can just tap to turn it off. And the way you get out of the deep press is just press anywhere on the screen. We'll take it out. And then these are all the standard ones. There's one more of those. You have your, you have your volume control here. And I've had a little trouble sometimes grabbing that in the past. But you can deep hold and, okay, it's not letting me control volume while we're broadcasting, apparently. But you can slide that up and down and control the volume of your phone. So, but I would like to customize this, which I don't have anything on here now. So just for the sake of demo tonight, I'm going to show you how to customize, and I'm going to add them all. So go back to your phone and go to settings, and then you slide down till you hit or find do not, you find control panel, control center. I'm sorry, you tap on it and then customize the controls. Now, the ones you saw on the screen, none of those can be removed. And so I'm going to just add each one. You don't have to add, you can just add as many as you want, but I want to tonight. Add them all and show you what each one does. I told you today as we were texting back and forth, my demo might be a little lengthy, so feel free to stop me for a commercial break.
Oh, heck no, this is fun.
Or whatever you need to do. So now, of course, you just, you don't have to go back to your home screen, but now you slide up and you have so many more. We have, looks like 17 more that we've added. So before I even get into it, the one of the ones I really like to have, trying to think here, if I don't like that order, let's see. Whoops, I'm sorry, hit Siri there. Let's say I've got the alarm clock, or Apple TV is third. If I want that first, you go back into control, go into settings, control center, then customize it. And then I'm just going to hold and drag Apple TV to the top or wherever I want it. Now, when we go back, it should be the first one, and indeed is. So let me briefly show you what these all do. Apple TV, it's really neat because I do have an Apple TV. You press and hold, and it becomes the actual little remote that comes with Apple TV.
So when you can't find the remote because one of the cats is playing with it, you can do this.
Right. Lower left, you've got pause and rewind button. That's sort of an escape key, more or less. The middle one is. Then access Siri, and then the menu for Apple TV. But one of the big things, and I only discovered this today from this app. I knew it's done it before from the actual app. But if Apple TV is asking for a password, it's very cumbersome to type it on Apple TV. You have to either do Siri or slide over and click. But just open this, and then you can easily enter your password here. A keyboard will pop up. So you can enter anything you need to enter on Apple TV from that. So if you have an Apple TV, this particular control center widget is probably one of the best ones. Okay. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them toward me, Steve. I'm no expert, but I'll try to answer them here.
I was going to say with, that's not only good if you have lost or misplaced your remote, the little Siri remote, but, like you said, just in terms of being able to get, to a, I'm trying to think of the word for it there. Trying to get in a password, or even, I know a lot of people just don't like that little tiny touchpad that's on the actual remote. At least here, you've got something that's much larger that you can move your finger around. So,
well, you really do. Yeah, it is. And I haven't been using that, and I'm going to start more. And the next one just gives you quick access to accessibility, because if you do have some accessibility problems, maybe some motor issues, this is it doesn't offer anything. It just, you tap it. You actually have to tap twice, but it gets you to that menu, which is actually a little deep. And so that can help, just a shortcut to accessibilities. When you deep press that one, it does not do anything other than pop up that menu whenever you deep press. The next one's an alarm clock. Okay, you tap on it, it opens whatever. I may open back where you were at before. Let me try that. And it goes to alarm clock, as it says. But if you deep press, you get a little bit more with this one. You deep press. No, you get nothing with this one. My apologies. It's another one I'm thinking of here in a moment. Notes, but we'll get to that. So that's just a quick shortcut to your alarm clock. Very simple.
Cool.
The next one's calculator. Just does what it says. The only other function it has when you deep press, if you had a result, you can press and hold, then copy your last result. if you need it in
Nice.
another app. So that's the only thing it offers. Matter of fact, I think it'll show the last result. Let me just see, 7 times 7, of course, is 49. So we'll just go back. So now if you were going to deep press that, you see
Copy the last
49.
result.
Yeah, which is 49 on the screen.
Nice.
Oops. Okay. The next is the camera. This is probably one of the most useful ones. You tap on it, it'll open the camera. Hopefully they don't throw me off the broadcast. It didn't. So black screen because I got it laying on the desk. But if you deep press this one, this is quite handy. You deep press, it offers you to take a selfie, record video, slow-mo, or take a slow motion, or take a portrait. So probably the 4 most useful things. I'm going to do a portrait, and you'll probably see, not portrait, but selfie, you'll probably see the ceiling. Sure enough, you do. It's the top of the monitor.
What a beautiful photo.
Yeah. So quick access when you deep press. You get a little tactic feedback from the Taptic engine there. This next one is actually pretty handy. I've never really worked with this till last week. I experimented with it. You tap it, it's the automobile icon. It just turns on Do Not Disturb while driving. I experimented with that a little bit last week, ran off the road while testing. I'm only kidding. I did not.
Hey, did you see that one article, by the way? Apparently, since Apple did that, created that Do Not Disturb while driving, they reported that it's like, I don't know, a 10% drop in, phone-related accidents or something like that.
Which I did see that, yeah. It's pretty handy, and maybe we'll talk about that one night. But, well, it probably wouldn't hurt right now. But what that does bring up, if you click on it, let me go back to, I've got to find Do Not Disturb because you go into Do Not Disturb while driving, and auto reply to favorites. I had it manual, and you can customize this. You see what it says, and I just signed my name to it. So everybody in my favorites, if they text me, they will get that message and know that I'm driving. It's pretty neat because it senses that you're driving, and you start moving. I had my wife test the other day with me. We were going to a town about 40 miles away, and so she would text me to come in. So I pulled over to do it safely. I manually set it up, and then I started driving. And then as soon as she texted me, she would get that response. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah, I think I mentioned, I don't know, but a while back that actually works on cruise ships too, because
oh yeah,
it sees you moving and it's going, well, you're not moving really fast, but you are moving. And I had to keep going in and saying, no, I'm not driving. I need to text somebody, so let me do it.
Right. But it won't, apparently, well, when I was walking in a store, I certainly wasn't walking fast enough to trip it, but it can tell the difference, and it's really a nice feature, and I can see it being life-saving. So that's just a quick toggle to easily, just so you don't have to dig, slide up and turn it on. That's all you've got to do.
They may have to do that at the Apple building because I keep hearing that people are walking into the glass walls.
I know, isn't it unreal? Yeah, maybe we got some good Apple news tidbits to maybe share. Okay, then the next one's a flashlight. That's pretty self-explanatory, I guess, but you turn it on, turn on your flashlight. Yep, it's on behind there. But
I'm not seeing the it didn't bring up control panel or control center that time for some reason.
All right. Do you not see it? Do you see it now?
No.
You just see my icons on the home screen.
Yeah.
Well, let me stop sharing and reshare.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, we're back. All right. This commercial break is brought to you by, you remember the old radio shows, how they would have flour and biscuit commercials from the old days? Maybe we do something like that. All right. All right. We have control center now.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
We're good.
All right. You see the flashlight icon here. All right. You tap that, your flashlight comes on. Okay, it works. But you press and deep hold it. You can slide it to 4 or levels of brightness. It's actually 3 all the way to off. So if you can see my flashlight, it's actually responding to it and go back. A little quick tip, though, it's really not useful. If you ever had your flashlight on and you open camera, it always turns off the flashlight, just for what it's worth. So,
That
which
I
makes
did not
sense.
know.
Yeah. And you can do that, and it always forces the flashlight off. The next one is, and which is really we could do an entire hour on this, but we've talked about guided access before, where you can lock down your phone to a certain app
Yeah.
or certain part of an app. You tap that, and it just gets you to the guided access menu. Is simply all that it does. I don't think that one does anything. If you deep press, it does not. Tell me if you
Nope.
lose this screen.
No, we're still good.
All right. The next is your to go into battery saver mode. The just low power mode. And you deep hold and it doesn't do anything. That's one of my most used ones. If I'm going to be out somewhere a little long, I'll just often toggle it on and do that. The next one is pretty neat. A lot of people don't realize their phone has. I'll have to hold it up. Here's a magnifying glass. You tap that one and your phone. Let me get over to this old time keyboard.
Whoa.
It's actually pretty good.
That's a great one.
And you can turn on the flashlight with it if you want to see. That may even be better. You recognize these old keyboards, don't you?
Yes, I do. Old IBM.
And that's pretty good magnifying.
Yeah.
And if you got where you want, you hit the lock. And it didn't lock it. You tap that screen. Okay, you tap the middle one, and it more or less takes a picture of it. So anyway, and then you can slide around. So that is what that one does. It's simple. You deep press it, it does nothing. It just goes to it. Whoops, back to it again. All right, back to control panel. All right, the next one looks like a notepad. So you tap on it, you open up notes, ready to type a note. But this one, if you deep press, it offers some options of a new note, a new checklist, a new photo, or a new sketch. So you can do some things. So 4 type of notes that you can do. So it's just quick access. Say you want to do a new checklist, and it comes up, already ready to do that. Okay.
Yeah, I love using notes for checklists. That's got to be one of my favorite features.
I use notes a lot. The next one is grayed out, probably because I'm broadcasting to the screen. But what this one is to record the screen.
Yeah.
You tap it. I use that a lot. There's been things I wanted to show people or demo, maybe in a game or another app or something happening on the screen. You just tap that and record. One of the options when you deep press it is to have the microphone on or off. So you can record your screen with your voice or mute the microphone. So I cannot demo that one here. The next one's a stopwatch, pretty self-explanatory like a while ago, except it goes to a different part. And I think on this one, if I press and hold, it does nothing. Okay. The next one, my eyes at my age are a little weak, and I do like to use the text a little larger. The next one has a small A and a large A. You tap it, and you can choose the text size. See above it, it's changing there.
Yeah.
And there's the default right there. And if you press and hold that, you just get this slider is all that you get. So nothing else really. The next one is a countdown timer. It basically 3 of these do the same thing except go to a different part of the app. But this one you can deep press. You deep press and get a quick, like 15 minutes, 5 down to 1, or you can choose up to 2 hours.
Up to 2 hours.
Yeah, to do a quick. And let's see, it's 9 o'clock. Let me set it for 30 minutes, and I'm going to go when that goes off. I'm out of here. Now you can pause. He's
gone.
And so, that looks good. Can you see it on the screen? Yeah, it's counting down. I'll be honest.
That's one of those Apple details. Isn't that cool?
It is. I've never seen that because I've never used it. But you can tap it, and you're into your regular. I guess I could deep tap it there. Let's see, deep press it. Yeah, just deep press it and pause and resume. That's actually pretty neat. You know, I've taught myself something tonight because I've
I
not
love
used
it.
that, yeah, that much. If no one else watches or get anything out of this, we do. And so the next one, two more, if everybody can bear with me a moment. The next one is notes and recording. You simply go into your note app, but to record audio messages. But you can deep press this one. You press and hold. You want a new recording or playback. These are my last three ones. They are two just named new recording. One I had read off the mileage of a vehicle that I wanted to save, or you can do a new recording. So whenever you press, I'm not saying 3D touch because you don't have to have 3D touch on. I do not, but it
Yeah.
still works. And
Yeah,
then
and we're kind
go
of
ahead.
back to your home screen again for some
Okay.
reason.
All right. I guess it can
You,
only take so much of sharing this. You know, it's
and then
bad
it
when
says, I've had it. I'm not going to share anymore.
it's bad when your own computer gets a little bored of your demo. I told Ruby this afternoon I was going over it myself, and I think I drifted off. So I said it's going to be a little slow tonight, or around that. Oh, let's see. All right, we've got one more here,
Oh, there it is.
and this one is your wallet. It just opens up Apple. Well, you can't get any details, but you see I've got an Amazon Prime card there, and let's see. And you press and hold, it does nothing, but just quick access to your wallet. So these, I don't use nearly all of these. I use the low power mode and flashlight probably most of all. And I'll probably end up using the Apple TV a little bit more. So that was my planned demo tonight. I actually had said last week that I would go over this. And so there you go. That's pretty much it.
That is absolutely cool, because some of those things you don't think about, because they're not there in Control Center. You don't, I'm not one of those people that goes into, the settings and plays with Control Center all the time, seeing what there is to add. So it's really cool to see exactly how much you can add to Control Center. And there's a tremendous amount there.
Well, there's
really
one thing, yeah. Well, there's one thing I forgot to tell, not of this, but that people might, I guess one of the settings, let me bring the phone back up here. Just a moment, I'd already shut down QuickTime. You can have Control Center access it two different ways. Okay, let me share the screen here. Okay. So, yeah, you can slide up and access it. And whoops, I turned my screen all the way down the brightness. But let's say you're in an app. Let's just pick weather. You can see here's our hometown. We're 70 degrees right now even. And I try to do Control Center. I cannot. But you can make it where you can access it on every screen. Go back to settings and go into Control Center and access within apps. So now when I go back to weather, I can access it, and which is handy, but I keep that turned off because I do quite a bit of gaming. Some games are really active on the screen, and you'll swipe from the bottom and suddenly Control Center will appear over your games. And I mean, I just lost that high score on Angry Birds, by Control Center. So,
that's a catastrophe, man.
So I actually keep it turned off within apps.
I was going to say on the iPhone 10, it actually, the gesture for getting into Control Center is different. You actually slide to the center of the screen from the upper right-hand corner to get to Control Center, and swipe down from the upper left corner down to the center of the screen to get to Notification Center. So a little bit different on iPhone 10. iPad 10? Whew, iPhone 10.
I forgot to mention that, but I don't have one. But of course, I had read that. So
Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's, a little different, just a tiny bit there. Um, let's see. Shall I hit mine then?
yeah, looks the countdown timer's running down on you.
Oh
Uh,
no. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get my sharing set up here again. We'll go to screen mirroring and get this guy turned on here. There we are. Share screen. And there we go. Okay, so we're looking at my control center, which you really don't want to look at. But okay, here we are looking at the screen. And what the heck is Dad, what the heck is Steve going to show today?
I was going to
Steve
say,
is going to,
I like you, Steve, and I enjoy doing the show, but we'll stay with Steve for now.
yeah. Well, I almost look like I'm old enough to be your dad today. So maybe that's it. But what I was going to do is demonstrate Animoji, because I'm not sure a lot of people, maybe you've seen the ad or something like that, but, how do you actually do it? So here are, here's my messages and a couple of things there I'm going to go ahead and get rid of. But let's see here. Who do I want to send this to? Maybe I'll send it to my sister. No, I'll send it to my wife. Hopefully she doesn't say anything nasty. Whoops. Yeah, I said something bad there. Okay, never mind. I used a rather colorful word. So I'm just trying to think who else I can send this to.
Well, why don't you send it to me? Am I in your book?
Let's see if you are Marty Edwards.
Yeah, that'll get it right there.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, this just looks kind of like the standard iMessage screen. I'm going to go ahead and tap on this guy here. And if you look along the bottom of the screen, of course, you can see I was doing a search on pizza gifts here a couple of days ago. But if I scroll along the bottom, I get to Animoji. And Animoji is really kind of fun. As you can see, for some reason, I have the unicorn up there. And as I talk, the unicorn is moving its mouth the same way. Oh, it says, bring your face into view. It was in view. Anyway, I don't like the unicorn, so I'm going to go with, no, not that. I like the fox. The fox. Hello, fox. Hello there. And this works pretty good. I don't think it likes the lighting that I've got on here. But anyway, what you can do is this type of thing. And if I wanted to actually send you an emoji, what I could do is record it. Tap on the red button here. So, hi, Marty. How are you doing? And I'll stop. So I've now recorded
Hi,
that.
Marty. How are you doing?
Pretty cool. And so to send that to you, all I have to do is tap the share arrow there, sending the Animoji, and now you've got it.
Or at least it's going. Yeah,
it's playing, and it's muted it, so I don't have to hear it talking over and over and over again. Obnoxious, but fun. That's all I can say. It is really a lot of fun. I'm not sure it's the reason to buy an iPhone 10, but it is pretty cool.
It is cool on feature. Here playing. I won't show it because it has your phone number at the top, but it is here playing.
Oh, no. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get out of that. The next feature I was going to show is in iOS 11. You were showing the Notes app earlier, and there's something pretty cool that you can do there. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but if you're the type of person who likes to write with your finger in notes, take handwritten notes or maybe use a little stylus, there's actually a variety of papers that you can use. And I'm going to go into notes here, and you'll notice the first item up here says, I am a note. And if I want to change, right now I've got it set up. You can see I've got a paper that actually has just a bunch of horizontal lines. Now, if I type on there, that doesn't really work. It won't type on the lines or anything like that. It's really best used with something like the pencil or the marker or the pen. And you go in and you can say, hello. Well, if I can write on here. My finger is really cold, and I think I have no pulse, so it's having a heck of a time finding me. But anyway, it's kind of nice to have lines on there and do that type of thing. Okay, I'm done writing. So what I want to do is change to a different type of paper. I hit the share button there, and then I just scroll along here until I see what says lines and grids. Tap on it. And here, for this particular note, I can choose either 3 different types of lines. I can have blank paper, or I can have 3 different types of grids. So if I wanted to, maybe take a little, not an Apple pencil because it doesn't work on the iPhone, but let's say I happen to have a stylus, just a regular old stylus for this thing, and I wanted to draw some pictures. I could actually bring up the grid and then go in and, maybe design a icon or something using different colors and those little dots in there. Once again, using my pen. So pretty cool thing. You can go in and choose for an individual note like that, or you can go to settings. And if I can remember how to do this here, go to notes. Yeah, and here we can go in and we can actually, where it says lines and grids, we get that same list of line or grid styles, and that'll apply to any new note. If I happen to say I wanted lines on every one of my notes or something, I could tap on that. Anytime I'd create a new note now, it would have those lines on there. Basically, I prefer a blank piece of paper, but it is neat to know that you can do that type of thing.
Well, I had to admit, you taught me something new there. I had seen those lines and grids, but did not realize I could access it like that from the bottom or set the default. So that's pretty neat.
There's some other kind of cool stuff that they've got set up with, being able to actually create cells, like in a spreadsheet. Right. Those you can actually type into, but I think we covered those on one of the previous episodes. So I don't think it'd be a good idea to hit that one. Now I've got a couple other things to show. I've never been a fan of live photos, but I found something that I think is going to turn me into a huge fan of live photos. And I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate something. Now, live photos, as you well know, with the newer iPhones, if you set live photo and take a picture, it actually captures like a 6-second period. So it's taking actually 3 seconds before you shoot the picture, before you tap the button, to 3 seconds after. Really kind of fun. Well, if you bring those photos into the Mac Photos app, there's something really cool that you can do with them. I'm going to go ahead and fire up Photos on my machine, and then I'll share it here. Dum, 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 dum.
It's funny how things connect to another. You said a 6-second period. I hadn't thought of this in ages. I had algebra 6 period my freshman year.
So that reminded you, huh?
It did.
Oh, that's funny. I mean, that's almost downright weird, Well, it's like I can always remember 9:17 in the morning, 9:17 a.m. because that's when gym class started for me in junior high school. So, we're getting too old.
I know it. Maybe we're already flashing back.
Yeah, okay. Now if I can actually get back to my Zoom screen here. There we are. I'm going to go ahead and share photos. Where are your photos? There we are. And we're going to share that. Okay, so you see my photos library there. And what I'm going to look for here are live photos. It actually creates an album for live photos. And it was funny because today when I was using my other Mac, they were right up at the top. And for some reason, I can't see them in here. God.
You may have to click on collections up there. I think it will at the top middle.
Top middle, let's see, collections.
But maybe not.
Well, this may be a real short thing because normal, like I said, it was under my, maybe it's under media types. There we are, live photos.
Wow. We both missed it there.
I almost got scared. Almost got freaked out.
Now, what about that top left photo of you? That's was that like a driver's license or?
Oh, I think I was just testing it. October 2015 when it first came out. And for those of you who aren't familiar with live photos, if I click on this, I don't know if you saw that, but yeah, I don't think it's showing here. It's saying talking. Oh, never mind. It's not playing. This could be a really short, this may be another one of those, it doesn't share well with others. That's not a lot of fun.
That tree looks good.
Oh, no, the tree worked, yeah. So if I click on it, well, you know, it seems like it's working with these small images. You notice if I put my cursor over that, you can see it moving. And if I bring it up here, you can see me talking. Well, what I'm trying to show is that you can actually edit these things. So I'm going to click on this again and bring it up to full view. I'm going to go to edit. And when I do that, you can see down here that it's filling in kind of a scrubber so you can see the complete image. Now, this was really kind of a boring little video. It was just the wind was blowing really strong and it was blowing this one tree. So if I wanted to look at that in a loop where it was continually going over and over and over again, I can select a loop. And now I'm holding my cursor on here and you notice it's just repeating that over and over and over again. Just kind of mesmerizing. You can actually, if you've got an application that lets you convert live photos to GIFs, that's a great way of creating a GIF. You turn it into a loop and it'll just continue ad infinitum there. Okay, the other thing you can do is bounce. And bounce just kind of bounces back and forth between the beginning and end of the piece of video. So you can see this tree seems to be dancing, which is kind of cool. But where that would really be useful is if you have somebody jumping into a swimming pool or, you know, falling off a skateboard, they can fall back onto it. You know, you can do fun stuff like that. But my favorite happens to be this thing called long exposure. And for that, I'm going to actually get out of this particular one because I found a live photo that I had that really made good use of this. And that's this one. This is just a little creek that's near our home. And there's a little dam there. And if I go in and I click on this, well, it's not going to play it again. So let me try. I'll get into edit mode and we'll watch it that way. There we go. So if I just wanted to look at this, this is what it looked like. And you can hear water running in the background there, but if I click on it, come on. Just going to see if I can get it to do it again. There we go. And you can see it just plays that little thing. Well, it's not very exciting. Well, there are some things that you can do with long exposures that are really kind of neat. And one of the things that you can do with water is that if you give it a long exposure, it gets this milky effect if you have like running water. And so I went in and I took this, this video from a couple summers ago, and I went to long exposure, and it applies that to it. And what it's doing here is it took all of the frames and kind of added them together. So it's as if I took a long exposure picture of that waterfall, and I got that milky look to the water here. You can see that the leaves up here and the leaves down here are a little blurred because they were moving in the wind. But, it kind of does that neat effect. Where I could see this, where this would be really impressive is if you were taking a picture of like a waterfall and the water beneath it. You could take a live photo, run it through long exposure. You'll get this one photo like this. And with that photo, you'll get that wonderful long exposure water effect where you get that milky look to it. The other case, and this is something I can't wait to try this summer, is fireworks. Because if you take a live photo of fireworks, you're taking essentially a 6-second exposure. You take that 6-second exposure, you jam it all together into one frame using this long exposure setting here, and guess what happens? You suddenly take a so-so little movie of fireworks, and you have a beautiful picture of fireworks instead. So really cool effect. If I wanted to save this right now, I could just go in and say done, and we'd be done with that photo there. In this case, I'm going to go back and revert to my video, and we'll get out of this. But something I had never used before. And, like I said, after looking at that, I'm kind of saying, maybe I'm going to start using live photos, taking a few more live photos.
I had to admit that's something I've only used by mistake.
Yeah.
Same here. Yeah, never really had that much interest in them, but that adds a lot of dimension of some possibilities there.
Yeah, and of course, it's not going to work all that well for people who maybe just have an iPhone or just have an iPad. But if you happen to have a Mac around the house and you've got the Photos app, which you will, you've got that really, really, really cool feature. Okay, this next one I'm going to do here is just a kind of a quickie. It's one of those accessibility things that you were talking about earlier, and this is on the Mac, of course. But sometimes if you're out in really, really bright sunlight, you'll find that you can't really read, stuff with a white background on the screen. It just gets all washed out. So there is a wonderful feature that allows you to invert your Mac screen. And I'm going to turn on my Mac screen here in a moment so we can actually, I can share this here. I guess that would really help, wouldn't it? There we go. Ta-da. Okay, so everybody's seeing my messy screen now. Anyway, what you do is in this particular, to set this up, is you go to Keyboard, you go to Shortcuts, you go down to Accessibility, and then you click on Invert Colors. Now, this cryptic command over here is Command Option, I think it's Command Option Shift 8. And so when I hit Command Option Shift 8, well, maybe that wasn't it. Let me see, I've got it written down here. Oh, Command Option Control 8, never mind. Okay, so now I'm gonna flip this here. And there you see my screen inverted. Now, as weird as this looks, it's actually, in some cases, easier to read some of the stuff, white letters on a black background. I mean, it really is kind of different looking. And if you happen to be out in bright sunlight and you're used to having a white background, you'll have white letters on a black background, much, much easier to read. To get out of that, you just toggle it again, Command, Option, Control, 8, and we're back to normal.
That's pretty neat. And there is an invert, I think, on the iPhone as well, isn't there?
Yeah, there sure is. It's definitely different looking. You know, you can really freak somebody out too, by the way, if, you know, it's one of those days like April 1st, which happens to be coming up in a little over a month. Grab your friend's iPhone or your wife's iPhone and you invert the colors on it. And they go, what the heck's going on here? And, you know, don't tell Ruby about that. Just do it to her.
This actually makes for a nice, I guess, pseudo dark mode on the phone.
Yeah.
A lot of
really
people with the
cool.
OLEDs are really wanting a dark mode.
Yeah, that would help as well, being able to do something like that. Okay, the last one of my little hints and tips here. A lot of us in the blagging business love doing screencasting, you know, where you're actually going in and you're capturing a screen and you're explaining something that's going on. And it usually works pretty well. I mean, it's kind of a cool thing to do. But what really makes it effective is if you are capturing that screen and you also have your face showing up in the screen. Now, this probably isn't going to work, but I'll explain the process anyway. The reason I'm saying it's probably not going to work is because I'm already using my camera and I'm sure it's not going to let me do this. But I'll go through the process. But this is really cool because it just uses an app that everybody's got on their device. And if you decide that you want to create a little screencast type video that has, you know, your talking head over in the corner, you're going to be able to do it just with QuickTime Player. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. And there's my beautiful screen. So I'm going to go into QuickTime Player. And like I said, it's probably not going to let me do this, but at least I'll talk everybody through the steps. But the first thing you're going to do is say, I want to do a new movie recording. So I'm going to bring that up. And you'll notice, hey, it actually did come up. And it's showing, showing the green background there. I don't want full screen, however, so I'm going to have to shrink this guy down if I can. Oops, where are we? Oh, great, I lost it. Movie recording, there we go. I'm back. Oh, that went to full screen. Trying to get this screen to be, this window, there we are. And make that a little smaller. But you can see my talking head in green there in the background. And I'd be able to actually go in and record that simply by clicking on this button. So I would start a recording there. Then the next thing I would do is go in and say I want to do a new screen recording. Now this captures the entire screen or any area on the screen that you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and just click the button here. It says click to record the full screen or drag to record part of the screen. In this case, I'm going to just, well, I guess I'll click to record the full screen. So anyway, now what it's doing is it's capturing not only a video of the full screen, whatever is going on, my cursor moving around, but it's recording me up in the corner as well so that people can see me explaining what's going on the screen. Now, this isn't very exciting because it's kind of a, you know, pseudo recording that I'm doing right now, but it is kind of neat to know that you can do this using one built-in app. There's the full screen recording that I did. I'm going to go ahead and delete it.
That actually is a very good tip because I have never tried that. I've done a lot of screen recordings, but never thought about capturing myself and then recording that screen, you know.
Yeah, and it's, you know, it's so funny because there are apps that, I mean, and I've got a couple of them, but there are apps that cost a couple $100 each that, you know, some of them are really expensive, and I won't explain, you know, or talk about those. But these apps, even though they're much better at doing video editing than QuickTime Player is, in terms of recording, in some cases, they're not as good as that little trick that I'm showing you right now. So very, very cool tip. Highly recommended if you want to create your own screencasts and become a rich and famous blogger. In other words, not like me.
Yeah. When you do your bank balance on a 2-digit calculator. That's all it takes.
You got it, man.
But I haven't thought of something. Let me think here before we close. We're actually over time. You've got the wheel spinning. That was actually a really good tip. That's one of the.
Did your alarm go off, by the way?
Oh, let me see.
Your timer.
Yeah, it did. It's no longer yellow. It's just back to what it was. So it did. So it just stopped, but it left the 30 minutes to do it again. So I could actually do the new movie recording here. Of that. So I don't think I can do I'm trying to think here. There may be a way to do the iPhone with you in the corner. If I broadcast the iPhone over by AirPlay, I'll have to experiment sometime. But there's a lot of possibilities with the built-in software.
Ooh, sorry, that just scared the crap out of me. Our sump pump just went off.
I thought a cat had dove into it.
I was just like, what the hell is that?
Well, a car just went by here, and I thought they'd run up on the porch or something. Out of here. But yeah, I'm going to experiment. A lot of people don't realize, QuickTime is a very, very powerful app.
Yeah.
So that was a good tip. I learned a lot there. I've learned a lot tonight from you and myself.
And I've learned a lot too, because, like I said, some of the items in Control Center, I was totally unaware of. And, it's something you don't sit down and play with every day. So it's
what's sort of sad is,
things.
I guess you would say I was blogging about it and learned myself. I didn't even know it would do a couple of those things. And so.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, it's been a good show.
Yeah, we'll be back on, actually, let's take a look here. I'm going to have to bring up my calendar because.
Be March 6th.
Unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town that day. So March 20th.
That's okay. It'll give us plenty of time to save up some good tips and things.
Yeah, and then after that, we'll just keep chugging away until, let's see, I think then we're good for at least up until May 1st.
Yeah. Well, then after that one, we're going to be into baseball season. So I think maybe March the 20th, just a little bit of foreshadowing here, unless you had planned on it. I may demo a little bit about Major League Baseball app.
Okay, yeah, on March 20th, that would be great because just before opening day comes along, that would be a good one to talk about. But we will be back on March 6th, so everybody remember that. One other thing I was going to bring up is if you're watching this, and I say it every time, if you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go ahead and do so. If you like the video, please go ahead and let us know, and definitely let your friends know. One other thing I did want to bring up is if you could put in the comments on YouTube whether you would prefer watching this live broadcast on YouTube or Facebook, because we can do it to one or the other using Zoom. I like the Zoom format, like the Zoom app. I think we've got a lot more followers on Facebook than we do on YouTube, so we may just move over there.
And I'm going to investigate the possibility there may be a way to do both at the same time without bandwidth being an issue. And so so you say our next broadcast will be 4 weeks, March 20th, right? The next one.
No, March 6th.
I thought you was going to be out of town.
Oh, wait. No, I am. You're right. I am out of town. I'm horrible. Yeah. So March, for some reason, I kept thinking that there was another week in there, but there isn't. It will be March 20th. So 4 weeks from now. The reason
I was looking, I checked the calendar. There's a full slate of Major League spring training games at night. So that's going to be, there's some at night. So it's going to be a great night to demo Major League Baseball app.
Yes, it will. That'll be good. That'll be a fun one.
Yeah.
And the fun thing is, for those who aren't familiar with the Major League Baseball at-bat app, they do cover all of the spring training games with the app. So, it's just like I think the folks who do that are actually getting their spring training in as well.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, we've gone 6 minutes over, and we're not bad. I guess we'll see everybody then on March 20th.
I'm sure we'll have a lot of news. I'm hoping we'll have a new Mac Pro announcement, but I'm sure we won't until WWDC. But who knows?
So like the sad face I did?
Yeah, I did.
And I don't know if everybody saw the little comment in one of our Apple World Today news updates, but it's looking like WWDC will be the week of June 4th through the 8th in San Jose. It's not official yet, but that's what everybody's thinking will be the upcoming thing.
And there have been March events before. They did the spring forward to launch the watch. So there's a possibility of a surprise announcement or equipment in March.
And
it's
iPads.
Not unheard of. Yep,
yeah,
exactly.
iPads come out too. So, not that I need a new iPad.
No, I need a new Mac, but it's probably going to be a while for. I do want to wait on the Mac Pro. I love expandability, and I'm just waiting on the Mac Pro.
I can't wait to. I really honestly hope it comes out. I really hope you get it, because we could do a complete show just on the Mac Pro.
Yeah, whenever I get it, I'll probably video the insides of it and maybe, anything. But we'll see. It's probably going to be a little while. I don't think they want on the heels of the iMac Pro to cannibalize it right now.
Yeah. Or all of a sudden you'll see a lot of refurb iMac Pros available in the store.
You sure will.
Well, everybody have a great month, since we'll see you next on March 20th. And from me, thanks again for everything. Thank you, Marty.
I enjoyed it. You're welcome.
And I will go ahead and, ruin everybody's ears with our outro here. Everybody have a great couple of weeks here.